Hey everyone, today's video is about when you almost die. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Let's get going! You don't actually remember when saying goodbye to Bakugou in class late, to walking home together. You couldn't even begin to remember when you started saying goodbye to him specifically, instead of the whole of class 1A to start with. But it had become a central part of your day. He'd wait for you while you tied up laces to your high tops, in silence or with aimless conversation. It really never mattered. I'm always afraid someone is going to steal my umbrella. His eyes glance down at the blue plastic in your hands, watching as you tap the tap against the concrete, getting off any excess water before you start home. His eyebrows furrowed in his usual fashion before rolling his eyes. I don't think anyone's going to steal an umbrella with flowers on it. It doesn't just have flowers, you said, ignoring his not so subtle jab. It has disappearing flowers that reappear with water. Still pathetic. I'm just saying, if it's one thing I don't miss about home, it's throwing everything to a snoring dog to keep it safe. You slapped your pig back onto your shoulder, and started off. Your companion slowly following behind you in his usual, lumbering gait. I remember my sister had her bike stolen. Twice. By the same kid. The rain had stopped by mid-morning, meaning we were spared the despair of having to walk home with wet socks and even wetter shoes. You could only stand the irritating splash for so many feet before you gave up and went barefoot. The moment you went outside, both you and Katsuki ditched the school's uniform jacket, him tossing it over his shoulder, and you tying it around your waist. The humidity was doing a number on the other students and teachers. The only ones that didn't seem to be bothered by the heat were those who had any sort of learning towards ice quirks. What's it give to create ice at the moment? Notice, especially on a day like today. Some slush and ice cream, or some cold lemonade, homemade so it'd be perfect, blend of sweet and tart, but most importantly, iced coffee. What happened to the kid? It had been so silent, lost in your thoughts, that you had nearly forgotten that you weren't by yourself. He let out a soft sound, turning to look at Katsuki. His eyes were cast towards the ground, lips pulled tight together, as if seemed to be lost in thought. It was growing more and more common since the beginning of the year that your friend was drawing into himself. It wasn't alarming, so to speak, like dropping a cereal from 11 to an 8. Still loud and overbearing, but better than what it had been. Though you found yourself longing for when he would be lying, screaming, seething mess. It's what attracted you to him anyway, right? You mean the cat who stole my sister's bike? Yeah. You had to get it back from him the first time to have him steal it twice, right? So what? You called the cops on him or something? Nah, nothing like that. Though you couldn't deny that the lie might have spelled out once or twice when you realized that your neighbor had been the one to commit the villainous act. It was a tight-knit little area, everyone looking out for everyone else. My dad just went to talk to his dad the first time he did it. I think all of us were kind of surprised to try it again. Impressed, almost. Ah, his smirk was so wide. It encompassed nearly the entirety of his face. Actually, funny story. You continued, rounding a corner. That kid that saw her bike? After she moved back in, he came back home for vacation, and he asked her out on a date. Wasn't too long after that, he became my brother-in-law. This seemed to catch Baku's attention. Brother-in-law, huh? He's a good guy. You admit it, shrugging. I didn't really like him at first, you know? I always thought of him as this total jerk who was nothing but a no good. He was a bully and just... You felt hurt, finding yourself at a loss of words. He isn't a bad guy anymore. And maybe he wasn't even a bad guy then. He grows on you. He didn't say anything. Instead, his eyes shifted to the ground before you. The splash caught your ears first, and judging by his equally confused expression, Vargas too. Your attention shifted instead from each other to the small crowd that was steadily growing around the even smaller bridge that acted more like a dam than anything. You couldn't really hear what the commotion was about. The water from the rain had turned the river into a large, overbearing rush of sewer and foliage. But 1 second of looking over the crowd, you could definitely tell something was horribly wrong. If the woman shrieking and reaching like a banshee was anything to judge by, your feet moved without thinking, rushing over to push yourself over the edge of the bridge. You could hear Bago screaming at you to stop, taking off quickly after you. It didn't take you very long to spot the child in the water, screaming and grabbing onto one of the pipes sticking out. You didn't waste any time, tossing yourself over the edge and finding your grab on the latch. You could feel someone swipe for you, as well as the smell of burned clothing, but the determination was too much to take your own welfare into account. You could hear people calling out for you to stop, to just wait for a hero to show up. But you knew, just like anyone else here, the kid didn't have much time. If he lost his grab, or if a large gush of water just so happened to force itself through the pipe, he was a goner. Didn't even want to think of that, and you knew that you couldn't love with the guilt of the kid. Move. I'll set every single damn one of you on fire if you don't move. Hey kid, you were within reaching distance now. He had scuffs that were bleeding against his left cheek and arms. But other than that, the absolute terror, he was whole. That was good. It's okay, you're going to be alright. Okay, you can do this. A few more shimmies and you soon could pull yourself into the pipe. You didn't have length to go around, and you didn't have enough footing to boost yourself up onto it. And from the splashing and fresh shower just an hour before, well, let's just say that grabbing onto it was nearly impossible. The kid was lucky he landed right onto it. Grabbing his arm was dangerous. One wrong move, and he was falling the other 10 feet down into the rushing water. But he's close. I want mom, he pleaded, hardly hearing you over his own sobs and trembling. He was absolutely terrified. Of course, you needed to find a way to calm him down, to give him hope and trust the way that you weren't going to let him die. He opened your mouth to say something, anything, but stopped when you heard your bare thud against the concrete. He turned, eyes widening as the familiar grunting reached your ears. Absolute music. You looked up and saw Bago dangling the bag, attached to his jacket. Hey, grab on, you damn idiot. He didn't waste any time reaching up to grab at the brown strap dangling down to you. He was bent half over the bar, teeth gritted, as you focused your attention back to the boy. It was a stretch. With the unspoken light out, you turned your attention back to the trembling boy. We're going to get you to here, but I need you to listen to me, okay? You were trying to be as calm as you could. Your fingertips were screaming. Your arms were starting to ache with the strain of keeping you tight against the concrete wall. You didn't have much time left. It was now or never. He seemed to realize that, nodding as quickly as he could. You had one shot at this. If you screwed this up, both of you were going down. Listen to me, okay? You reached out, grabbing the back of his shirt as best as you could, curling your fingers for good measure. When I say go, you're going to hug yourself as tight as you can. Can you do that for me? Okay. He whimpered, laying however much trust he could find in that tiny body. If you were going to be brave, so was he. And despite all the fear and anxiety you were feeling yourself, you still managed to give him a wide grin. You're going to be just fine. I got you. With a deep breath, you steadied the shaking of your body. He couldn't know you were afraid. He had to have faith you've done this before. and had some kind of confidence. Bakugou, you could smell caramel in the air, overpowering your senses, and nearly shoving the smell of sewer water out of the way. Without another moment's hesitation, you slammed your foot on the pipe and got yourself and the boy up and towards the outstretched hands. Your arms lifted, using the momentum to get him up into the arms of someone who was a lot stronger than you. They snatched him, grabbing his shirt, and thanks to his desperate hugging, tugged him up and over the bars. Bug reached out, grabbing you by the back of your shirt, and tugged you over the middle railing. You landed against his chest with a grunt, grabbing him like your life depended on it still. You were shaking, and so was he. He was trembling as he pulled back and stared at you. What the hell were you thinking? You almost killed yourself. It didn't seem to hold the effect he was going for. You just grinned and let out a quivering breath before laughing. You know, I'm not entirely sure you admit it. Thank you. You were knocked back as the mother of the boy, in all her wailing glory, threw her arms around you. Your eyes widened, bracing yourself against the ground so she didn't topple over with you. You, you're welcome. I was just... Tell the little brat to be more... Katsuki's yelling is cut off by the woman's arms tied around him. You two saved my boy. I could never repay you. Thank you so much. I almost lost him and, despite his glowering and his screaming, and his harsh attitude, attracted stares, he couldn't help but smile. It was soft and warm, and while it had been something you never questioned before, you knew it then and there. With his brash personality, with his strangely skewed sense of self-worth and determination, one fact was a shining sign. Katsuki was going to make an amazing hero. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you liked the video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Goodbye!